Hey everyone, today is Monday, August 22nd. Happy Monday, fun day, right? Okay, so now you've either enjoyed most of your day or you were waiting for this moment. But either way, this moment is here and we're going to get right into it. Well, I'm going to wait for some people to get in. Let me look at the comments and see what's going on. So the comments will be down here and you'll be there. So there we go with that. So in case you see me looking down and you're like, oh, why is she looking down? Well, I got to see your comments. I can't see your comments from just looking up. So anyway, today I wanted to go over a couple of things. I don't know if you watched the Erudition Network with Jesse and Eddie being on the show. Um, so I want to talk about that. And I want to talk about Philanda, Karen, and I being on the show. Hopefully you went back and you watched that because those were some really good episodes. Um, um, I love um, all the interaction and the different perspectives because if you have different perspectives, which you should, that builds character. That's, it's not to say that you know everything or whatever. It's to say that there's different perspectives and you can enjoy having, all these different perspectives, and it makes you think. It really makes you think. And if you're thinking, you're like, man, I'm hearing what you're saying, but let me digest that for a minute. Let me digest that for a minute. And that's what the banter between the people who I associate with. That's the banter, how that goes. And I like to do that with everyone. And when I can't do that, it's like I don't think we need to talk because I can't. I can't. I'm not feeling this conversation. I can't feel where you're coming from. I can't see, where you're going with this. So I'm like, yeah. And I will around you. But anyway, because everybody has to have those people that they get along with like that, and that they can listen to, and they grow from. So I like to learn a lot and have different perspectives. Provides me the opportunity to learn. So you learn how you learn, I learn how I learn. Okay, so let me look at the comments. Okay, so anyway, today we're going to talk about how we're going to continue like with Philanda and Karen and I. We were talking about women and the perspectives of women and different things that we encounter and we endure. If you feel me where I'm coming from with that. So a lot of times lately, you see in the movies where women are speaking out about the things that they go through and the things they endure, and people may seem like they're tired of hearing how women are so sensitive, and how women have to be rescued. So you have these movies now where they're showing Rapunzel isn't, waiting for Prince Charming or whomever to come and climb up her hair. Because, like, think about it. That's a great deal of sacrifice. You mean I have to let you, a whole person, a whole man, climb up my hair in order for you to get up here and save me? Now, how are we gonna get down from here? We're just both going to be locked in this castle. So that really just never made sense to me. But I don't like to spoil things for other people. It's not my intention. But anyway, so I was thinking, a lot of the shows that we're watching now, they're showing how women are saying, look, every day, like we were watching She-Hulk. We were watching She-Hulk. I loved it because it's showing how She-Hulk has already, she has to control her emotions, she has to control her anger, whereas Hulk, the man, he has to learn how to control that animalistic tendencies and urges, and be her Hulk all the time. Whereas She-Hulk, oh, spoiler, sorry, I forgot to say spoiler alert. See, that's what them comments are for. You gotta tell me spoilers. Don't tell me, don't tell me. But anyway, um so She-Hulk was like, I could turn it on and off at will. And he was like, Hulk was like, well, how can you do that? It's like, I do it all the time. I'm a woman. Like the cat calls, the times where men want to explain to me my job when I'm an expert and they're an expert. So how, and then men are easily offended oftentimes when a woman is an expert and the man is an expert, and they're like, well, let me explain it to you. And she's like, yeah, I already know. And then she explains it or elaborates on it, and he gets offended, like it's an attack to his manhood or his character or his level of expertise, like he didn't know it already, or whatever the problem is in his mind. You see, we can only be responsible for the way that we think we're communicating with you. We're not responsible for the way that you feel we're communicating with you. So that's why you need to be vocal and tell people, okay, I took offense to what you said. And it's like, well, what did I say? And when you tell the person what you said, they can either tell you what they meant by it, or they can apologize for how you felt because that's just the way it is. So it's not to say you recant what you said for someone else's feelings, but to make sure that everyone's on one accord with what was said and what the intent of it was. Because women, if they always went around telling men how they are emotional about something that they said, oh my God, you think women are chatty now? It's a never ending conversation at that point. But anyway, and nothing will get accomplished because you're always talking about emotions, and your emotions, you know, it's not gonna, it's not the end all to be all. You still have to work and get the job accomplished, regardless of your feelings and how you want others to treat you or whatever the problem is. There's a goal, and that goal has to get accomplished regardless of, oh well, I wasn't feeling well and I had a headache or whatever your problem was. Women, they have to work through, you know, cramps, headaches, and carrying a child. Oh my God, it's so many problems that go on with a woman's body. She doesn't have time to sit there and say, oh, okay, well, ooh, the baby moving and that feels really creepy. Ooh, the baby is doing this. Man, did the baby just fart? I don't know what that was. It was a bubble in my stomach. And then they try to explain it to you. And all the while men are like, ew, I don't want to know. I don't want to hear that. So it's a lot of things that women endure and they go through and they still push on, they push forward and they get the jobs done. And no one, is aware of what the woman had to endure, what the woman went through, but still got the task accomplished. Meanwhile, women don't get enough credit for the things that they do. But anyway, I was watching Eddie and Jesse, and I was in the comments because they were in the comments with us, with Falanda and Karen and I, when we were trying to do our women's show. And Eddie and Jesse said a few things, and I was like, okay, payback is coming, payback is coming. So I tried to get in the comments and bother them the way they were commenting, and I was just messing with them because I really enjoyed the banter and the fun and games with it. Just being a little um, playful, whimsical, just teasing, carrying on, just acting goofy. Anyway, they was ignoring my comments, but there was something that Jesse said, and I don't recall what he said about the pushback on it. He said that when I said, "How do you get a man? How do you make a man listen?" Don't take my words literal. How do you encourage a man to listen? How does a woman encourage her man to listen to her? And he said, um, it's not, it's a helpmeet's job is to inform and to help, but he said that it's not a man's job to listen. They don't have to listen. And I was like, well, what's the purpose? And the woman said anything, so we're definitely gonna have to have Jesse back so we can find out a little bit more about that. So keep watching. That conversation is not over by far. That um I don't know. And then Falanda and I were talking, and Jesse was saying how he speaks and how his wife receives what he's saying, and that's how their relationship works, and that's why it works, because he speaks and she receives it, she speaks and he receives it. And that kind of camaraderie, that kind of reciprocation, that's what all relationships are built on, to include my relationship with my husband. I speak, and he may or may not listen, but he'll come around eventually. And it's like, sometimes that's just the way it is. Everybody's relationship is different, though. And having those different perspectives, that's what makes things, exciting and interesting, because in somewhere in those perspectives, you could find yourself, you could find your relationship, you could find the past relationship that you were in. And then you can also see that it's not always that perfect picture that you get to see, that little snapshot of them being in the public with you, or they y'all in a club setting, and it's the behind the scenes, and that perspective is priceless. You make sure you go back and you watch those episodes, because that right there, that'll feed you, that's gonna grow you right there. So make sure you go back. Now, another thing I wanted to bring up, um, to further the conversation of women, is I'm in no way forgetting the men. So I will always put men in there, because it feeds the whole man. So you know how men say things to women, and it's like, I don't think they're very mindful of the things that they're saying. So women, when we are picking a man, we're mindful of what these men are saying to us. And in being mindful, you have to understand what you're listening for. So when a man tells you he has a plan, listen to his plan. And that's how you pick the man you're going to be with. Is his plan in alignment with your plan, and where you envision yourself going, and your ability to move or work with someone? Is this, good for you? So if a man says, "Oh, I want to do XYZ, I want to do this, I want to make $1 million by the time I'm 50," and you're like, "Oh, $1 million, huh? That's not very much, given inflation, et cetera, et cetera." And then he's not thinking that way. He's thinking $1 million, like that one movie with the guy, $1 million, and everybody like, "What, $1 million?" Um, because he was, y'all know that movie. He was like, he's holding people hostage, and he's gonna blow up the world unless he gets $1 million. And they're like, $1 million? Oh, okay, okay, well, yeah, go ahead. We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. And he's like, what? And then he upped the ante. If a man tells you that he wants to make $1 million by the time he's 50, it's either that he understands he's not going to have to work very hard for it, or he's not aware that he can do more, he can get more, he can earn more. Your earning potential is higher depending your goals and your dreams. So that's where you need to dig a little deeper and find out, well, if you want to make $1 million by the time you're 50, what is it that you plan to do? And there you'll find what his real plan is. And if he's telling you, well, I want to make $1 million, but I want to do it by mowing lawns, and I only want to stick to mowing lawns, and I only want to stick to mowing particular lawns, and then you'll come to understand that, yeah, you limiting yourself. And if you can grow him to think bigger, think about mowing all lawns, and not just mowing the lawns, but planting different things in the yard, doing a little more landscaping than just mowing lawns. Plant some bushes, trim the bushes, plant some trees, move some trees, relocate some trees. Like, relocate trees? Yeah, you can relocate trees. And if you're growing him and he's receptive to growing, then you have someone who has a plan. I remember on Eddie and Jesse's show, Jesse was saying that women enhance the potential in men, whereas they don't necessarily create the potential in men. He used the analogy of the monarchy. When um, the queen became queen, she married a man, but he did not become king. However, when a king marries a woman, she becomes queen because he upgrades her. Now, there's a little I would imagine there's a little bit of, there where a woman can not only enhance what's already there, but I believe that it is innate in us all to be great. But it's a little spark, a very, very tiny spark, which is possible for you to grow and help it to manifest and fully blossom. And that's where I believe the word is saying the faith the size of a mustard seed can grow into a big mustard seed tree, or it could be a small little mustard seed bush. So I believe that it's innate in us. We just have to have the right people to bring it out in us. And a lot of times I like to speak to my elders, and I'm from diverse communities. So I like to speak to the elders in the military community. I like to speak to the elders in the church community. I like to speak to the elders in psychology, or even business and business management. What is it that it is saying? I believe that we said that they enhance each other. Okay, yeah, they enhance each other. But my point here is that I'm making, that you have to um, realize how you are in alignment with the person so you could pick a guy better. A lot of women ask, well, how do you know how to pick a guy? How do you know how to pick a guy? And some women say, oh, that guy wasn't no good until you said XYZ to him. And now he seems to be, this is how I did it. So you can either watch and comment and get the point and stick to the point, or you can be in your feelings and not get the point. But anyway, but yeah, comment. That's great. So anyway, so if a man says he has all these dreams, like the guy with the lawn, and he says, well, I just want to mow these lawns, and then he never moves, he never makes any actions towards manifesting that and making it happen. He doesn't own a lawnmower, he's not renting a lawnmower, he's not even making moves to get a lawnmower, or he has a lawnmower that he's trying to piece together, but he never quite pieces it together. But he's always saying he's going to piece it together, and it's just, oh well, it rained today. Oh well, I'm waiting for the parts to get ordered, or I don't have enough money to order the parts. And he's always got an excuse as to why this isn't progressing as fast as it should or could, had he put in the proper effort. Then you know that that's not going to be a good idea. Or you should well understand that you are the one that's going to have to make sure to see this through, if this is your man. And what do I mean by your man? If this your husband, outside of it being your husband, do not dedicate your life and your time and effort into being with someone else's dream that you're helping to manifest, to the point where you're doing all the work while they sit there, and then when you're gone, they're not doing anything. Hey Jackie, how you doing, sis? Thanks for coming. Your husband, and Mike. Oh, I saw how on the Man Up show, um, Mike was saying he wanted to travel, and they're from my hometown, Chicago. He wants to get past Hostage Street, and I'm laughing and clowning, and I'm like, yeah, speak the word. It's safer for men to travel anyway. What is that doing? That's speaking life into the dream. And I'm like, just move, do that thing. I'm gonna hit you up with some information that'll help you manifest that dream. But y'all's wives are amazing women, like Jackie there. Amazing women, and they can help y'all move towards manifesting those dreams. What did Ty say? Women can be the same way. Yeah, women can be the same way as well. We need that motivation. We need somebody to feed us, to fuel us, to help push us and drive us. Say that, sister subject. I know, right? It's like women, we think that it's our job to take over when a man has a plan. It is not our job. And sometimes we can be left, or even appear as though it's it's our vision, our decision, and we're not taking the head. We're following the head, but it seems like we're taking the lead on it because the head dropped off. And it's like, No, it wasn't my plan. It wasn't my idea. This is what he wanted to do, and I was on board with it, and I was supporting, and I was trying to speak life in it. It's a difference between speaking life into something and taking over. He has to put forth a great deal of effort. If he's not putting forth more effort than you, he at least has to match your effort. And that's where a lot of times women feel like, man, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but it's like, you know, what more can I do to get him more involved into manifesting his dream? Because it doesn't just stop at the idea. It doesn't just stop at, okay, we did a little bit. We got to keep growing. You got to keep growing. What did Eddie say? I want to travel, but I want to do this. Sounds good. Now let me explain what I mean by what did I say? A good to be someone's amazing wife. Hey, move towards it. Keep on believing it, and put yourself in a place, in a position where, guess what? He can find you, and he's going to find you. And it's not always that you're putting yourself in a position, but you pray. Listen for where you should be. And how many times have you ever regretted following your first mind? Exactly. That was probably an opportunity. So follow your first mind. If I'm putting forth too much effort, I'll tap out. I know. And it's like, I'm tired of carrying the load, but I put forth a lot of work into this. So I might move around you and tap out from you, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to destroy what I built. I'm going to keep going. And because I keep going, this dream that we had, but I put forth the effort to do it, guess what's getting ready to happen now? I'm gonna keep going, and somebody else gonna come along and say, hey, baby girl, I got you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna rock with you. And that's how that works. Let's get paid. Anyway, so women, you have to understand, when before you tap out, don't destroy what your hands built. Even just because the relationship didn't work, it probably wasn't going to work before that, but you didn't know that. You thought that if you brought to the table what a woman brings to the table, and helps to nourish and enhance and build that man, you might thought that, oh yeah, this is going to work, but then when you turn around and in retrospect you look at everything, you're like, man, everything was me, everything's been me. So don't tap out on what you built. Hey, okay. I'm gonna try to hit you up with the same information and the opportunities, Regina, so you could take advantage of that. I know some people, and we'll see what we could do about that travel situation. So, and it's not about whether you're supporting your husband or not. And yeah, that dude ran shirtless outside. I was so embarrassed since he gonna say that. I was like, oh no, I'm calling your mama. I'm calling your mama. This is ridiculous. It's raining and he outside. Shit. Yeah. Anyway, it's some cameras out there. The neighbors have cameras. I'm sure that video is gonna go viral. So just look for it. Look for it. Crazy guy next door, crazy veteran outside running that. Yeah. Anyway, it's even the same with the veterans. Oh my God, that's a hard conversation to have. So, but I'm gonna have to get to that later. So just remind me, because relationships change, especially depending on where you go. For example, when my husband and I met, we were, little, and we were in church. We've said that before. Just go back and watch some of those videos. We grew up together in church, and that was before he had a plan. We were just formulating words. That's how young we were when we first met. So it was like when he started to develop dreams and thoughts and visions of where he wanted to go and how he wanted to be there and how he wanted to get there, he already had to be working toward it, and I joined it. I already had to be working and working towards something, and he joined it, and that union together developed something. You can't have a man that's saying, well, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, and you got everything but any work towards that effort. So you can't support somebody Like what's giving 100% to somebody to support somebody who's doing nothing? It's 100% of nothing. So there you go. What you say, Jackie? I support my husband 1,000%. That's what we need to encourage them. Say that again, sis. I'm gonna leave that up there. Say it again. It's like you have to understand. You're not just pushing, your idea onto him. That is not the way that goes. You're helping support and you're pushing him to continue to dream, continue to prosper, continue to go forth and manifest that dream and dream some more. You're not just, okay, well, you want to cut particular grass and you want to do it with scissors. Well, where's the tools? So you want to help him to think about the things that he's doing to get to where he wants to be and where he is going. He may find contentment in that, and he's like, well, I want to go further. Or he may find, oh, well, I don't want to. I'm fine right here. I'm good. But you may be like, we shouldn't become complacent because at any given time, things could change. And if the pandemic has done nothing more, it helps us to all realize things can change and you need to be ready for the change. And you can't be so much of an expert in one thing that you don't realize, hey, there's some other things that we need to do. There's some other things we could do, that we can do this and that. Because if I can't go to the grocery store to purchase food, what can I do? You can grow your own food. Get you some seeds and grow some food. Well, I don't have the space. Well, keep searching because there's other ways that you can grow food. For example, I sell grow towers that help people to grow gardens and vegetables in their home on the balcony or just in the corner of their room or wherever they find the space to do it. Because at the very least, you have some lettuce. You're not going to go hungry. You're not going to starve. You have some lettuce and maybe, another tower for some tomatoes. And you got all these herbs and spices that's growing on there that you could put onto your salad and have yourself some salad at the very least. If you cannot go to the grocery store and find the foods that you need for the price that you need to make your dollars stretch so that you can afford water that's at a ridiculous price or light that's also at a ridiculous price. You have to find ways to make things happen. And that's what a lot of people have learned during this pandemic. I'm a veteran husband, but okay. I have. I'm gonna say why that's difficult. Just because, yes, vision doesn't mean it's not theirs. That's a good point, sis. That's a really good point. A lot of times, people have to. That's a really good point. I got to get you on here. That's a fantastic point. You got to hit me up when you get some time, sis. You got to hit me up. It's like sometimes people feel defeated, and it's like you have to encourage them through that as well. And I'm gonna get back to that. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. All right, I'll be looking for you. And when we do, we're gonna hit that point deep. All right, we're gonna hit that point. But a lot of people don't know how they are picking the wrong men, and that's what I want to focus on. How we can pick better and do better. If, for example, getting back to the example of Eddie and I, Eddie was already moving towards his writing. He was already moving towards, keeping employment, having money to do whatever needed to be done. We were both in Chicago and on public transportation, but he did what he had to do to make sure that he was wherever if I was at work. And he's on the bus, I'm on the bus. But he came to my job when he knew that I was getting off the job. He would meet me at the job or at the bus stop so that I'm not walking alone at night trying to get back from A to Z safely. Even though he was coming way from the west side of Chicago and sometimes from way up north, but he had a plan, and his plan was to get the girl and to have the career, the writing, and all those things. And the plan kept changing, but he kept moving towards what it was he was trying to manifest. So we had a baseline understanding. And with the underpinnings of that to support the relationship and to grow the relationship, because you can't just, okay, well, I just want a man. Okay, I just want this. You have to have something supporting. Well, what are y'all gonna do? Because you can't just sit around all the time. What's that about? I missed the comment. You're gonna have to go up and read, honey. Go to YouTube and scroll through the comments. It's oh, you know what? I think I think if everybody was to get on, we'll be able to see. Let me put that comment back up there for you guys. It was on Facebook. It's, it says, just because, Jackie said, just because he may not see the vision doesn't mean it's not there. That's where I come from in as his wife. And we're going to get into that because that's deep. That's deep. And that's why I'm like, I got to get on so we can talk about that, because some things you just can't say it and walk away, and you can't just hit it in a few seconds. That's deep. I would like to see her perspective on that, where she's come from, so I can meet her. And we talk about our different perspectives on it, because sometimes people will say things and they're not necessarily saying exactly what you may be saying or where you coming from. So that's going to make a good conversation for women and their wives. Okay. Okay. I know that was on Facebook. I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm trying to leave the comments up a little longer. I don't know who's taking them down, but I always say leave the comments up for a while so people can read the comment at length. A lot of people don't read as fast as others, so you got to leave the comments up a little bit longer. So anyway, yes, Rosemont was a very long way from the south side, far south side of Chicago. So that was putting forth a great deal of effort. So with him putting that kind of, I don't know if you know, that's like an hour, I think, an hour maybe more time and effort that's put into um, showing someone that even though I'm short on this, my heart's still in it, and I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to show you support. I'm trying to show you love. I'm trying to be there for you. You want to work, and I support that, even though I'm way over here and I'm still trying to have a relationship with you. But I can't spend time with you because you're at work, or because you're at school, or because you traveling from A to B. So what did he do? He met me where I was and said, "Hey, look, let me just get on the bus with you and we'll ride together," even though that's well out of his way. So that kind of understanding is what makes a relationship work. He sees where I'm going and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, you don't have time for me. That's all right. Where are you going? Where are you going to be?" And, I'll be there. I'll be there. And even though it's well out of his way and he had to go well over, over the times that he should have been asleep, it's about, yeah, exactly, tight. It's about the effort. That kind of scroll as new ones come in. And yeah, I understand that the comments scroll as new comments come in, and that can knock other comments out. So y'all better speed read. I think that's what Eddie tried to say. Yeah, tasks about efforts. And it's like, uh, uh, if a man is putting in that kind of effort, it makes a woman feel like, okay, you support me and you want me to support you. So we can reciprocate that. You can give a little, I give a little, and that's how we're going to get to where we're going. And if he's not giving, it's like you have to understand. They say a man does what he wants to do. Same thing with a woman. But you have to understand that just because you want to help this man grow, just because you want to help this man reach his goals, just because you want to help grow this man from a small mustard seed to a bush, and from a bush to a tree, it may be even able to be as strong and big as a sequoia tree. But just because you want to do that, they have to have the same effort. They have to have that same drive, not just mouth service about how they going to do this and that. You have to put forth the effort, and they have to maintain that. You have to maintain that. Don't lose that. Just like you don't want your woman, if you get a man, okay, I'm gonna put it out there. If you get a man because you gave him head every day, you got to maintain that once he say I do. You can't be a head hunter and then be like, oh, well, now we married. Now I'm not gonna be no head hunter for you no more. No, you can't do that. You have to maintain that same energy. And just like the men, when they sitting there and they putting it down and they laying pipe, you don't want him to say, oh well, now we married and now you more comfortable and you drinking and whatnot. Now I gotta just take 40% chub when before you was giving 1,000% at 4 hours. And you weren't tired yet. We going through boxes of condoms. You got to maintain. You can't just keep saying, well, we'll work toward it. We'll work toward it. No. Once we get there, you have to maintain that at a baseline. So in order for you to progress, you can't lose any slack. So if you say, well, okay, I put forth the effort, so now what? Now you keep going. Remember, maintain that effort. So if every day you're saying, well, we're making $70,000 in this relationship, we're bringing forth that much, but a lot of it's going out towards the kids, is going out towards travel, between you getting from A to B every day for work for him and for her. And then it's okay, well, after that, well, she's getting her hair done and her nails done, and he's getting haircuts that may be about $40 a haircut, or whatever is going, all the money is going to small stuff, and that is not going to build higher. That's the baseline. That's your baseline. And that's fine. Small efforts turn into, yes, the small efforts turn into big success, because now that you have that, that's what Jackie says. And now that you have that, you have a baseline to work from and to build and grow from. So now that you have the understanding, don't let your partner slack off and say, well, okay, well, we got there, because inflation gonna catch you up, and your baseline is $70,000, or your dream is $1 million by the time you're 50. Things are going to catch up with you to the point where it's like, man, that wasn't enough. Man, that didn't do all the things that I thought it would when I finally accomplished those goals. That's where the relationship comes in, where all that banter back and forth between you two, growing each other and having these different perspectives. That's the little efforts that's leading towards big success, because now that different perspective is making you realize before and forecast it before it ever is a problem, that yeah, I need to start thinking different. I need to look at the long term range. For example, if you have a dream and you say, well, I want to make $1 million by the time I'm 50, you need to go back and research a little bit about how much inflation has changed things over the last 50 years before the 50 years you're projecting. That will help you understand $1 million. You're going to have to adjust that a little bit. If you say, well, okay, my goal is to mow lawns, you got to think about it. There's a season when lawns are not going to be needing to be mowed. Can you survive from season to season without having mowed any lawns? So you're going to have other ideas, and that too is where help me comes in handy, because you're going to have someone that's doing what you want them to do, and you're helping them do what they want to do. And that diversity is what's going to help you to maintain that baseline. Because when that season changes and you're not doing what you need to do, you are supporting her to do what she needs to do. So that's going to fill that gap of those seasons when the seasons change. For example, there was a young lady that I ran into, and she was saying, a military, and she was saying that her husband was a veteran, and she decided that she wanted to work and do something outside of, once the kids were able to sustain themselves. And she went into a business where he went into computers. And she was like, well, if it wasn't for that, I don't know what would have happened, because his government job, they went on furlough. But the job that she was doing did not go on furlough. And if it wasn't for the fact that she was able to maintain a job, then they would have been in a really bad situation. And that's why you need someone who has different ideas and not necessarily just your idea. It has to be some different perspectives there, different tasks and jobs. What did Jackie say? Small efforts allow you to see the journey of where you are and where you're. All right now. Look. somebody, somebody get her inbox and see what's going on the time. You just gonna have to hit me up. We just gonna have to be on here because you dropping too much. You dropping too much knowledge for us to not say anything and have you on here. Helpmates can also be a voice to abstainers. Yeah, and a lot of times the 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 voice of your helpmate isn't really heard like you need it. Like Jesse was saying, it's not my job. It's not my job to listen. And it's like, hmm, I got to get back to him to see what he meant about that. But it's like, okay, it's not our job to nag you. It's not our job to constantly repeat it to you as though we're nagging you in order for you to do the things that you said you wanted to do, the goals you said you wanted to accomplish. It's not my job to sit there and beg you to do it, push you so hard to the point where I'm your mother. I'm not your mother. You have a mother, and if she's gone now into her eternal reward, then okay, meet her there and tell her what you accomplished. But I'm not getting ready to push you to the point where I become your mother. What I will do though is move around you, because it's not so much of us putting all the effort into one dream, all the effort into one perspective. It's about a united team effort. It's about a united front. It's about us building, not you building us or me building you. It's a team effort. And in order for that to actually be manifest, that person has to already be in motion. Okay. And if a man isn't already in motion, leave it alone. Leave it alone. Sit back, watch, and wait. A lot of men don't understand why a man is attractive. And they're like, well, why you like him so much? Why you like him so much? Because he's doing things. He's moving towards manifesting something. Whereas you are not necessarily sharing what your plan is. You may not be telling me, you're just going to work. Or you're going to work every day just to get to Friday, payday. And that's not where I can see, or where a lot of women can see a man, progressing in a relationship. Because if you're not progressing in your job, if you're not progressing in your dreams, your goals and aspirations, how can you grow a relationship? And a lot of women say, well, I don't know what makes a good relationship. You do. You do. And that's why a lot of times your relationships fail, because you like, I saw I wasn't going anywhere. No, he wasn't doing. And it's like, for this part, you have to know as a woman, as a helpmeet, how to help a man to do what he needs to do. Not necessarily make him, not necessarily force him or nag him, but how to help inspire him. Let me tell you, let him see you doing you. Let him see you going out there getting it. If he doesn't say, okay, look, I gotta get up, I gotta get up, drop him, move around him, because that's a heavy load that you don't need. That's a burden. You don't need somebody that's saying, well, you go out and get it. I'll just live off of you. I'll ride your back and your shoulders, because that's not a relationship. That's somebody taking care of someone else. And that's too much of a burden for you to bear, and to keep your mental spaces available and open for positivity. So once you drop that load and he gets himself together, that may be what it took for him to get himself together. And it's not to say drop him and lose him, like you can't come back or whatever, because long time relationships, you know, when you are in a relationship with somebody for an extremely long time, y'all go through some stuff. Y'all go through some BS that it's like, man, I don't even know how they made it to year 10, let alone 5. And I was looking at, I recommended watching Love is Blind. And I was totally into Ayana and Jared's relationship. And I was so looking forward to their relationship working out. But something along the lines went wrong. And they posted that they're going to get a divorce. And I was heartbroken, because a lot of times, people are putting the wrong ideas in people's head. They had a baseline understanding. And the underpinnings of their relationship was that no matter what, I understand crap happens, but I'm going into this relationship for the long haul. So that means that hell or high water, we're going to make it through this relationship. I'm attracted to you. You're attracted to me. We're both moving towards our goals. Let's continue to do that without thinking that my goals have to uh, be everything that you need and your goals have to be everything I need. You don't have to necessarily need a mate. It's the mate that you want. And you want it to continue to work out. And that's why you're moving towards making it work out. So I was really disappointed to see that Ayana and Jared are getting a divorce because I really thought that, they'll probably receive, a lot of support to stay together. And they already had the baseline understanding that, crap is hard. Crap is hard. You just got to keep working towards it. Just what the comments. And I made a comment stating that how a lot of people are more isolated in physical presence than once before. But back in the day, you would have people who were in the crowd and they would say things like, oh man, they'd antagonize a situation just for their entertainment. Well, now the internet, the social media is that instigator, that antagonizer, where they're trying to push people to do the things that they want to see happen just for their entertainment. And it's not about, entertainment. It's about, okay, and you have to be able to mentally, understand that I have a goal. And this goal, in order for me to obtain this goal, this is what I'm gonna have to do. This is the mud I'm gonna have to sling. This is the quicksand I'm gonna have to escape from, etc. Wait a minute now, y'all going a little too fast. Calm down. It's not just about attraction. Yeah, it's not, but it helps. Let's not lie to ourselves. What you say, sis? Women see the potential in there. How? Mm-hmm. And you know what? A lot of women say, "Well, I saw a lot of potential in him. I saw potential in him." And it's like, what's the thin line between potential and actually manifesting that? I'm gonna have to say, um, the thin line between that is the women in your life. And men, that's why the Bible says that when a man marries, he has to detach from his mom's tit and latch on to his wife as a man and stand on his feet. Because you're the woman that you chose, she saw potential in you and she's trying to grow that and manifest that, but you still latched on to some other things that's keeping you bound, that's keeping you in a childlike mentality. It says when I was a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a grown man, I thought as a man. So how can you think as a man if you still latched on to what everybody else is thinking, what everybody else, bandwagon people? That's what I call that. You have thoughts and dreams and ambitions and goals of your own, but every time the bandwagon moves, you jump on that one like you didn't have a ambition, a goal, a dream of your own. I can't stand that. And the reason why I can't stand that is because being a woman, being a help me, I can't help you grow in that direction because in that direction is damnation. Because you're going to lose your dream. You're going to lose your drive. You're going to lose your ambition. You're going to lose everything jumping from one bandwagon to another. And I can't support that because one thing a good woman won't do is she won't help you grow in a contrary way. She won't help you to grow abnormality. She won't help you to grow something that retards your growth and stunts you and kills you and creates a cancer to you. That's not what a good woman does. I know, right? And just like, a good woman, she cuts that cord for her children. Like, for example, I have nothing but sons. I cut that umbilical cord once they got off the tit. I was like, look, now that you're starting, now you're walking. So you have to learn how to potty. And you can't just potty the way I think you should. You have to potty the way a man should. So I didn't teach them to sit down on the toilet. I taught them to sit down on the pot to do that particular thing. Other than that, you stand up. And it happened maybe not at the cutting of the umbilical cord, but good point. It happened when they got off the tit. That's why I use that analogy because you still gotta be nourished to an extent. Did you say? Okay, so the difference between seeing a potential in your mate and seeing it to manifestation, coming to fruition, be the intangible becoming tangible, is you have to uh yeah, you say what you want to say. I'm gonna say what I want to say because I'm gonna stay true to who I am. So there we go with that. So anyway, so when I say it's the woman, what I mean is a lot of times the women are their husband's muse. They want their wife to be proud of them. They want their wife to really, and they know the difference between, the only time they don't know when you faking is sex. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna put that out there. Other times they know you're faking, and they're like, well, man, she's smiling for me and she encouraging me, but she don't believe in me. She not feeling me, and I don't know what I can do. And that's the difference between a man having potential and actually manifesting it. The conversation that you have has to feed that thing. It has to grow that thing. You have to speak life to that thing. You have to keep speaking life to it, even when he don't want to hear it because he don't feel like it's his job to listen, or he feels like, man, there you go preaching to the clouds again, preaching to the choir, and like this is heaven, and heaven is after this life. I need to live here now. I need to manifest this thing here now. And it's like, yeah, but if it wasn't meant to be so, why do we have the power to speak those things that be not as though they were, and then it manifests itself as if it was already there, but we couldn't see it? And that's where you come to understand the power of speaking the word, the power of manifesting that dream, those words that you spoke, and manifesting those things into tangible substance that you can actually dwell in. So that's the difference. And a lot of women, they say, well, I'm trying to be his good woman. I'm trying to be his good woman. Yeah, you trying to be a woman that's giving him sex when he wants it, having children for him when he wants it. You're trying to be the woman that people are telling you as far as sexuality is concerned. But it also means to build towards a future. That's the thing we missing. And that's why we having some problems understanding things, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. And then when you see that you are able to encourage one another to manifest those things, y'all keep building. And that's what's growing the relationship. You so it's not necessarily about you needed that person. The matter is that you wanted that person. And you wanted that person because they're doing something for you that has longevity ability. And that's the potential that women are seeing in men. The longevity potential is what they're saying. So if they're saying, okay, well, he's saying he has a dream, and he's saying he has this, but what is he doing? So you have to watch what he's doing. I don't care if he got 10 kids and 9 baby mamas. If he is working towards manifesting that goal, if he and it is in alignment with what you want, that's what you're looking for. You're not looking at all the problems. Well, you're looking at the problems, but you're not looking at it as to say that you're being defeated by the fact that this person has all of these baggage or all these problems or whatever the situation is. You're looking at, does this align with what I am trying to do? Is this in alignment with what I want for my life? Is this where I'm going in my journey? This is how you end up in a relationship that either one works out or two does not work out. Or it worked out for a short period of time and now it's not going to work out. Like Ayana and Jerry. I think it was just they didn't meet the 5-year mark. And the reason why marriages have that 5-year benchmark is because within that first 5 years, you're gonna go through some hell and high water and tornadoes and all kinds of storms in your relationship. And if you overcome that, it's because you both had the same will to survive, the will for your relationship to survive all the obstacles, because that's just the beginning. The first 5 years, I mean, that first year of being married to my husband, oh my God, that was challenging. I'll say that. That was very challenging. Even though we grew up together, and we were in church together, and our families knew each other, and they grew up around each other. And we pretty much knew each other from, just not just ourselves but our family members. We knew, each other. And it's like, it was still challenging. I You cannot. I thought that you could get around it, and I thought I was being really clever. I thought, I would never get married. And then because I saw how marriages happen, and the BS that women have to endure and go through, and I was like, you won't catch me doing that. I'm not about to be that one. But eh, it's like, when you in it and it's just developing and it's just progressing in that manner, you end up, the never becomes, oh man, never say never suddenly. And it's like, okay, now every day you have to make that decision that this is just going to work out, but not at your detriment to the point where it's killing you. So you have to, it's a fine line, and it's very difficult to determine when to move and how to move. But that's where prayer comes in. Prayer fills the gaps to all of those things. And all I'm saying, I'm not trying to push people or a particular religion or anyone. It's your faith in the I am, the Alpha and the Omega, the one who is there in the beginning and will be there in the end. That's the person I'm talking about. So if you not sure who I'm talking about, make sure you hit in them comments so I can see that you want clarity on that. So if you're praying and God's like, yeah, you prayed for somebody and you accepted this person, now live with it, roll with it, rock with it. And you're like, oh, I can't deal with this dude. I just can't deal with him. He flaky. He say he gonna do things that he never does. Then I'm the one left holding the bag, doing everything he asked me to do, but he's doing nothing that he asked, or that I asked. So it's not, it's more you carrying the load than him carrying the load. Sometimes the relationship, that's going to happen. It's just going to be that way. And a lot of times it might happen in that first 5 years, where that first 5 years you carried the whole load, and the next 5 years you may be expecting he going to carry that load. He may not. It may take a while for him to kick in, and it may be that you dropped him, and then he was like, suddenly now he's on board because he see what he's going to lose, and you still love him. So you're like, okay, I'll take you back. But you have to be working towards and manifesting it. And you can't just be saying that you're doing something. You saying you're going to get the oil change, but did you really? Where's the receipt? Oh, I left it in the car. You didn't go get the oil change, did you? And then, the car breaks down because it's a manifestation there. Something's not going to happen that should happen, that's going to let you understand that you were lied to. It's going to expose that lie. So if somebody is saying, well, I'm going out looking for a job every day, I'm going out every day looking for a job, and you come back with nothing and you never have any money, you need to go to Ready Man. You need to go to Ready Man and try it that way. Get that dollar for the day or something. Don't tell a woman, a good woman who's thinking critically and logically, that you trying to manifest something. And logical women, don't tell me that you can't depict it when you're being lied to and you're not able to understand what's going on, when you really know it's your heart that's getting in the way of understanding that this person is not doing what they're supposed to do, and you really just need a little help trying to help him manifest those dreams. So it's not easy, but it is possible. So don't feel defeated, and don't stop speaking the word, you good men out there. And women, it's some good women out there. Don't y'all stop supporting these men. And just because he's not your man, don't mean don't support him. Support him and push him and encourage him, so he'll know, when he has a good woman on his side, so he'll at least have good counsel. And it doesn't necessarily have to be that you married to that person, and your husband won't be he won't feel like he's threatened by the other guy, because you're with him and he knows you're loyal, but you're just helping someone who needs help. So just because it's not your child, don't deny that child if that child is hungry. If you see another man, woman out here and they need a little support, don't say, well, just because that person isn't mine, that I'm not going to help them out just a little bit. It's about, when you're in a relationship, it's about how long you tarry with that person. That's going to make that difference and how you tarry with that person. It's not like you're going around having sex with everybody, but you're encouraging that person who needs a little encouragement because they don't have anybody like you in their life outside of you. They don't have a wife of their own that's able to push them and encourage them. And wives, we need to get together. We need to stick together because we need to get some of these women out here to help them to understand the difference because we are united in sisterhood because we want to have the sense of security and stability and safety out here. And we can't have that if we're keeping that, isolated to ourselves. So that's my time for today. I just wanted to sum it up that way so you can come back the next show and get the rest of the topic. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you all's times. And yes, I was reading the comments, but we're going to stick to the topic. All right. See you next show. All right, sis. Hit me up in the inbox. See y'all next show.